All right, today we're jumping into something really different. A book called Lead Wide Awake. And get this, it's a leadership journey guided not by some CEO or consultant, but by Rumi, the 13th century poet. Yeah, you heard that right. So let's see what a poet from almost 800 years ago can teach us about leading today. That's the big question, isn't it? What can a poet from the 1200s possibly teach a leader in the 21st century? It sounds kind of out there, but the book makes this incredible argument that Rumi is way more than just poetic inspiration. It says he's a relentless teacher of perception and moral clarity. So we're going to unpack exactly how this ancient wisdom can totally flip the script on modern leadership. And the person who brought these two worlds together is Suleman Anwar. He's not just an author. He's an assistant professor with a PhD in human resource development. You can tell from his other work, like The Soul of Leadership and all his lectures online, that he's really passionate about digging into the deeper, more human side of how organizations work. Okay, so let's get right down to the main idea here, because it's a game changer. The book says leadership isn't what we think it is. It's not some toolkit of skills you use on other people. Nope. It's about your consciousness, your inner state, especially when things get tough and you're under pressure. The whole idea is that power just puts a megaphone to whatever's going on inside you, whether that's good or bad. And this quote from Rumi just nails it. The full line goes something like, "What you do is shouting so loudly that I cannot hear what you are saying." This is the absolute heart of awake leadership. It's not about the speeches you give, it's about who you are. At the end of the day, your presence, your very being, is the loudest message you will ever send. So, how do we get there? Well, the book lays it all out as a 4-act journey. Think of it like a play. It's a philosophical path that starts deep inside you and then moves outward to touch everyone and everything you lead. So here's the roadmap for that journey. Act 1 kicks things off by saying, look, real authority, it starts with you. Then in Act 2, you build on that. You do the hard work of inner discipline, of being a person of integrity. And only after that, in Act 3, do you start turning that focus outward to leading other people. And finally, Act 4, well, that's the big picture. It's about shaping the whole culture, making tough calls, and basically holding the entire system together. Okay, so let's really zoom in on that first half of the journey, the inward path. The book makes it super clear that before you can lead anybody, you have to get a handle on the first and most important system you're responsible for, yourself. For each stage, the book gives us a Rumi lens to look through. For Act 1, it's this incredibly powerful quote. This isn't just about feeling good. It's a direct command to stop underestimating yourself and to recognize that you, your own self, are the real source of your authority. And here's the bottom line. Your leadership is all about the presence you bring when the heat is on. It's about what you choose to see, what you're willing to put up with, and what you have the courage to call out. The book says it so plainly. You cannot govern what you do not notice. Self-awareness isn't just a nice to have. It's the foundation of leadership. Period. Now let's look at Act 2, and you can see how it builds on that. The Rumi lens here is all about influence, not force. What a beautiful image, right? It captures that massive shift from a leader who just gets louder and more intimidating to one who knows how to carefully cultivate growth. This is where integrity stops being a word on a poster and becomes real. It's something you do, especially when it's uncomfortable. Real leadership growth comes from looking yourself in the mirror again and again. It's about seeing feedback and difficult moments not as personal attacks, but as data. The whole point isn't to win the argument. It's to learn from the pressure. All right, so once you've done that hard internal work, the journey pivots outward in Acts 3 and 4. This is the part where that inner world of the leader starts to physically and emotionally shape the team, the culture, the whole organization. And the stakes here are incredibly high. The book draws this really clear line in the sand between awake and asleep leadership. And the difference is just wow. An awake leader, they build trust, people feel seen, the culture learns. And a sleep leader, on the other hand, they make fear and silence the norm, creativity just dies on the vine, and nobody feels safe enough to tell the truth. One expands what people are capable of, and the other just shrinks it. So the main takeaway here is impossible to ignore. A leader isn't separate from the system. They're the one who designs it. Your internal weather, whether it's calm and conscious or stormy and reactive, becomes the company's climate. Your inner state literally determines whether the whole system thrives or breaks.
So, after hearing all this, you're probably wondering, okay, what now? How do I actually take these huge ideas and do something with them? Well, the book doesn't just leave you hanging with philosophy, it shows you how to start.
The first step is a massive mental shift. You have to stop thinking of leadership as a list of things to do and start seeing it as a way of being. And to help make that real, the book actually gives you a 30-day action plan. It's all about turning these concepts into daily, disciplined practices so you can actually live this new way of leading.
And we'll end with one last thought from Rumi. Because at the end of the day, this whole journey of leading wide awake isn't really about being a better manager or hitting your quarterly numbers. It's a call to something so much bigger. Are you a light for people in the dark? Are you a rescue when they're lost? Are you a way for them to climb higher? It really makes you ask yourself, what is the true purpose, the true service at the heart of my leadership?